Here I am, climbing up, feeling great, getting love. Here I go, risk it all, be worth it now, and that's for sure. Watch me as I Rocketeer.
Right, welcome everyone to Fight Talk Down Under, episode 13. I'm Dan Meehan from Fight News Australia, and my co-host, of course, is Lockjaw Justin Van Heerden, who is fighting this Saturday night against Alan Philpott at Eternal 65. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing good. It's fight week. We're fighting on Eternal. We're back in action in the Gold Coast. It's been a hot minute since I fought there. Obviously, I was based there before I moved to freestyle, so it's kind of, I don't know, I'm getting like a home crowd vibes, again, I'm coming in to put on a show for the home crowd, again. It's back at the Southport Sharks, which is a sick venue. I love fighting there. I've had some cracker scraps in there. It's my eighth fight for Eternal. So there's been some good sort of good times in that building. But yeah, it's fight week. We're water loading, we're doing all those things. We're just enjoying the sort of process before the fun part this weekend when I get in there and try and break the man in front of me.
Absolutely, and we'll get to that in a minute. Of course, we're going to be previewing Eternal 65 this week, so we'll have plenty to say about Justin's fight and, of course, all the other main fights on the card. But before that, we'll do a bit of a roundup. There's a fair bit of local news that's been going on in the last week or so. So we'll run it all down. We'll go through it all, and then we'll get stuck into Eternal 65, and of course our very first fan question, which is going to be a very interesting one too. So it's definitely worth hanging out for that. But first up, we've got. Last week, we didn't quite manage to fit this one into the run sheet, but last week Josh Time Bomb Tonner announced his retirement. A Muay Thai fighter, sort of one of the main fighters in the lighter weight classes here in Australia. So he's announced his retirement after 52 fights. He was last seen in one championship, which is probably a fitting place to finish his career. And he fought Same, who's obviously a huge superstar in Thailand, and had a huge win over Andy Housen as well over in one. So we just wanted to drop that one there. If anyone hadn't heard, Josh Tonner's hung up the gloves. So well done to him on a fantastic career.
Yeah, 100%. And look, the guy, like you said, he got to finish up at one, which is a wicked sort of way to do it, I guess, because obviously when it comes to that martial art, the one fan base and the sort of, I guess, the people that sort of tune in appreciate it, when it comes to, not just the MMA side of things. They really appreciate seeing the Muay Thai, the kickboxing, they're like kind of, it's probably, I mean, I know from my end, like obviously MMA, I fight, I do MMA, that's the sport I pursue, but I'm a big fan of Muay Thai, I'm a big fan of K1, I'm a big fan of kickboxing, boxing, all that sort of stuff, but especially the Muay Thai fights that they throw together and kickboxing fights they throw together in one, like you sort of said, there's just stacks full of talent in that avenue. So for him to sort of do it as long as he's been doing it and then finish off with that promotion, it's a good way to do it. So yeah, obviously, it's always shit when people retire, like when fighters retire. I guess when athletes retire, it's always a hard sort of thing to go, you're kind of like, oh man, but I want to see you go like just one more. But I guess, for him to be like, to make the decision to retire and walk away is a good thing, because sometimes fighters, obviously, it's hard for them to do that. But it was a wicked way for him to sort of finish it off. And, like you said, he had a stack of fights and put on a show and beat up a bunch of people. So, good on him.
Absolutely, yeah. 52 fights is it's a fantastic effort. And, like you say, it's hard to sort of let go of the fighters that we enjoy watching. We always want more songs, but he's hung up the gloves. I think he's in his early 30s, so he's hung up the gloves at a time when he's probably still in his prime, but he hasn't hung on for too long. So well done to Time Bomb there. And also in action on the weekend was Skye Nicholson. I thought this one's worth mentioning. She's obviously an Olympian, the probably best known for the scenes after. I think she might have finished fourth in the Olympics there, and but she's turned pro. She's signed with Eddie Hearn. She's making some noise in boxing, and over the weekend she became the first Australian female to fight at Madison Square Garden. She knocked over Shaniqua Davis, who was a 3-1 fighter. She's not exactly fighting cans there. She's now 3 fights in. She's had 3 fights in less than 2 months. Her opponents are 3-0, 3-11, and 3-1. So she's not exactly fighting cans to start off. She's fighting people around a similar experience level, and she's looked good so far.
Yeah, no, that's hectic. That's some fucking Rod Costa shit. 3 fights in 2 months. Shout out to Rod. We all appreciate Rod Costa. Fucking dog. I love Rod. I can't be mad at the bloke. He's one of the nice dudes, mate. But yeah, look at that, man. 3 fights in 2 months. That's mental. She's gone pro now. She's out here just putting on a show, just bashing people, and she's exciting to watch. Like you sort of said there, man. Imagine that you're 3 fights into your professional boxing career and you fought at Madison Square Garden. That's hectic. That's a pretty big thing to check off your bucket list in your sporting career. So that's mental. But as you can and I think from what I've noticed, obviously we've spoken about like in the boxing side of things, especially and MMA in Australia, there's this rise of talent coming through, and there's just like people are just absolutely killing it on the world stage. And then there's a lot of these people that they're sort of we talk about how underappreciated they are, and like people aren't really like on the train, and you're like, what are you doing? You need to like soak this in now while you have the chance. But she, for whatever reason, is one of those athletes that seems to just have that support and, people behind her, and which is a good thing. And when she fought, obviously it was just everywhere. Like people that I know that aren't really like hard out combat sports fans and people that follow boxing and everything, they were talking about it. Like my mum was talking about it. My mum doesn't really watch boxing, but my mum was all high up about it and everything like that. And I was like, Mum, just relax, all right? I fight too. It's not that big of a deal. But so that's probably a good thing. And I think for her to sort of do what she's doing and keep the momentum up is probably going to be the move, especially now. Like we always talk about in boxing, being undefeated and keeping that momentum is so important in the sport. So if she can just turn these over as quick as quickly and just keep churning out these wins, then it's just going to benefit her even more. You're making money, you're getting experience, and like you said, she's fighting people that are like a similar sort of experience level and in that same sort of bracket, not skill wise obviously because she beat the fuck out of them, but like experience wise that's right in the same sort of bracket. But I'm stoked to see someone go out there and put on a show like that and kind of fly the flag for Australia and do it the way she's doing it. And 3 fights in 2 months in whatever sport you're in is ridiculous. That's hectic.
Absolutely, it is. And like you say, she's part of a new wave of Australian fighters. And obviously, we're seeing guys like Jai Opetaia and Tim Zhu and those sorts of guys. Now Michael Zarafa heading towards a world title. We've got Isaac Hardman's obviously gained some notoriety in the sport as well. But also in the female divisions, we've got now Skye coming through, and obviously Ebony Bridges has just won a world title. What was the girl's name who won the world title on undercard of Hardman versus Zarafa? I've just spaced on the name there, so we might have to put that out on social media. I
was just thinking about that today, actually.
Yeah. That's embarrassing, but we're going to have to put out an apology for that one. But we do have another female world champion in our ranks, and obviously we've got some some of the sort of old veterans like Shotgun O'Connell as well, who are still contenders at world level as well. So even in the female divisions, Australia's on the march again. So and Skye Nicholson, she has Olympic level skills and she has genuine boxing skill. It's not just it's not just like a sideshow sort of thing. She has some genuine skills, so she is one to watch. And we're jumping on board here at Fight Talk Down Under. We're talking about it.
100%. And obviously we're going to, there's some boxing, there's some more Australian boxing coming up that we're going to cover off in our future episode, unless we get cancelled or some shit. But real quick, I just want to say, guys, go look at how Isaac Hardman has taken this defeat with Zarafa. Go see some of the stuff that's come out of like post-fight. I'm talking directly post-fight. If you haven't had a chance, go to the before the fight Instagram page or Facebook page and go have a look at the clip of him talking directly after the loss. Like I'm talking like right directly after, out the back in the locker room, still fresh. That's how you carry yourself after a fight. Whether you don't get the fight, you don't get the result, or you do get the result, that's how you carry yourself. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that and appreciate that young man, because he's still going to do big things. And for anyone that jumps on a fighter's back after they've lost and is saying some stupid shit, just remember, if you stood in front of that person, you wouldn't be doing that because you get your head fucking punched in.
Absolutely, it is easy to sort of punch out those words on social media, but I guess you do have to sort of bear in mind that these are still words and these are still human beings. At the end of the day, they're not not just characters on a TV screen there. And Isaac Hardman has been a real example of humility and sort of how to accept a loss and how to sort of ride the highs and lows that come along with this sport. So
well, like people need to remember, the only other loss that kid's got is to Jamie Malaki, who fights in the UFC, and that was like years and years ago. So like that puts into perspective that it's been a long time since this dude has to do something like that, and he's just he's shown exactly how to handle it.
Absolutely, and I just did a little bit of research while we were talking there. Shanika Johnson was the new world champion. So apologies to Shanika. That was that was a real.
I'll send you a box of donuts. I'm going to send you a box of donuts.
We might owe a box of donuts, but of course, the IBF Super Bantamweight world champion there, Shanika Johnson. So also a huge part of the the Aussie wave and now our latest Aussie world champion. So congratulations to her. And of course, we've got some fight announcements this week. So there's a fair bit happening for the Anzac fighters in the UFC. So we've got all of them at UFC 275 coming up, which is in June 11th. Nope, I haven't got the date there, have I? No, I haven't. Jeez, I've done well on this on the run. This is.
I think it's around then.
Shit show. Yeah, so it's early June anyway, but it's UFC 275. It's Jack Della Maddalena's taking on Ramazan Emeev, who's obviously an experienced fighter in the UFC. So yeah, he's 20-5. So he takes a fair, 34 years old, takes a fair bit of experience into the fight. But he is coming off a loss to Danny Roberts. So yeah, but it is again. I guess every fight for Jack Della is a step up. His last fight was, I think, Pete Rodriguez, who was kind of a last-minute replacement, possibly not in the same in the same class as Jack Della. So
definitely not.
Yeah, so it is a step up in class for Jack Della, and it's a good one as well. He's he's a tough Russian guy, so it's going to be interesting to see how Jack Della goes there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully confident he's going to go out there and let his boxing and his rounded MMA skill set, showcase what he's about. But definitely his hands. I feel like he's just going to go out there and put hands on the bloke, land those slick combinations, that he does, and use that slick head movement and just distance management and just put him away. I think, something special when that guy is in there performing. And I kind of always revert back to, if you look at his last knockout here locally that he got against Alden Bates before he got signed, and contender series and then got signed, like that's that even then he was already showing that he's something special, and he's sort of levels above where a lot of people are. And the fights are just going to get harder for him. He's in one of the most difficult divisions to fight in the UFC, so it doesn't get easier. The more momentum you get, the faster you rise, the further you progress. It's just going to get harder and harder. I mean, just in general in the UFC it's like that, but especially if we're talking like one of the most difficult divisions to sort of be in, welterweight's certainly there.
It sure is, yeah, and serious talent in Jack Della, and obviously the Dana White and the UFC have recognised that pretty early, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be keen to build him up to big things. So stay posted for that one. Of course, we'll have a full breakdown of that fight in Fight Week. But also on the card, Josh Kulabau is going to be back in action. He's been off for a little bit, for maybe a year. He did pull out of a fight just recently, but he's back in action against Sung Woo Choi, who's a tough Korean guy. So Kulabau will be looking to build on that win he had over Shah Yalan last time out, and Choi's coming off a loss to Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy. So it's going to be again another test for Josh Kulabau. It's going to be good to see him back in there.
Yeah, I love Joshy getting in there again. Obviously, it's one of my friends, one of my training partners. Especially recently since I made the move to freestyle, I got to share a few sort of camps with the bloke now and do a lot of work with him. And again, he's one of those people, man. He's got a fucking smile that lights up a room. He's just one of the nicest people you could possibly meet. So I don't have a bad thing to say about that kid. Even though he trains with the flop that I'm fighting this weekend, but that's that's not his fault. But yeah, no, I love Joshy. I'm keen to see him back in there. I'm keen to see him just take that momentum from obviously his last fight and keep it going. And if you look at his other fight that he had against who did he fight? Charles Jourdain or whatever. Look at that dude's run recently and the surge he's had. And I guess that fight, it was a draw in the end, but really was it a draw? Because Josh beat the shit out of him and dropped him. So if you look at that, man, then you kind of know, look at what this guy's going to be able to do moving forward. And yeah, I'm excited to see Josh back there. I think it's a good fight for him. Troy's a tough dude. And we've seen it, like the resurgence of some of these Korean fighters. They've got a beacon and a sort of North Star in Zombie that they're all trying to follow and emulate and kind of just, cash in on the momentum that he's been able to bring to the sport and to their region. So yeah, I have no doubt he's going to come in there ready to put it all on the line and sort of reinvent himself after his last loss. And then, Joshy's just keen to get himself progressing in the division and start making his way towards the top of the division. So I'm excited to see it, but yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. We had a lot of, good South Korean fighters in the UFC, like Dong Young Kim, the stun gun. He was a contender for a long time. And Do-Ho Choi, the Korean Superboy, is obviously a beast as well. So, we can expect no less. And you only have to watch one championship to see, some of the, the tough fighters that come out of that region. So, yeah, it's another big test for Josh Coulabau. And, I've had the pleasure of interviewing Josh as well. He's a lovely guy. I can attest to that. And, I interviewed him I think it was on weigh-in day or maybe the day before weigh-in day, which is normally a no-no.
A no-go, yeah.
Right? There's normally something that I would just try and avoid like the plague. But, I went along with it. And he couldn't have been nicer. Like, he would have been absolutely miserable. He was about to weigh in, but he was really nice and really well spoken. So one of the nice guys, like you say.
Fucking handsome bastard too, man. Just look at him.
Not a bad looking rooster either. Yeah, definitely got to give him that.
Fighting, funny dude. Just a genuinely nice dude. So we want to see him do well. Absolutely,
we do. And also on the card is Blood Diamond, Mike Matetha. He's taking on Orion Kosi. So it's a big test for him. It looks a horrible matchup on paper, I will say. Kosi's ex-Dana White Contender Series. He's coming off a loss, but he trains at Team Alpha Male, and he's got some pretty strong wrestling pedigree, which is... possibly the worst sort of opponent they could have thrown to Blood Diamond, really, given his his kickboxing background. He sort of got outclassed on the ground in his first fight in the UFC, so it's definitely going to be a big test for Blood Diamond this time out, and we'll see what sort of improvements he's made in his game.
Yeah, no doubt the dude's putting in the work, getting prepared. Obviously, all the squad's back together back there. Obviously Dan Hooker's back in New Zealand. He's out there working with the boys. Izzy and that's working with the boys. I actually saw Khan Offley's actually over there right now training in City Kickboxing. So, he's obviously pretty well rounded himself. Even that motherfucker can wrestle too. So, it seems like Diamond's got all the opportunity to sort of make those improvements. But like I said, like when they were here at freestyle training and got to move around with him and that, obviously we know the striking accolades the guy has and his ability in that, but man, the motherfucker, he can wrestle and grapple. I was very surprised. I was pleasantly surprised, actually. So I don't know. I feel like that first fight in the UFC, whether it was a combination of you fighting on the same card as your teammates, there's that pressure. It's your UFC debut. There's those jitters of that potentially. But obviously
expectations as well.
Yeah, expectations is probably the bigger one of that. Not so much the actual jitters of fighting in the UFC. I feel like it's the expectations of fighting on the same card as your teammates, trying to get a win, trying to do all that. But yeah, I feel like that he can go out there and perform for sure. I mean, obviously, yeah, on paper it's a rough matchup. Dudes from Team Alpha Male, these motherfuckers can wrestle. He can wrestle. He's going to be looking to, I've no doubt, push the pace in that avenue and try and get the fight down to the ground. But we're going to see. We're going to see what improvements Bloods has made, and hopefully he can go out there and get that first win.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you're a college wrestler, I mean, you're going to be going straight for those legs, aren't you? You're not going to be wanting any of that smoke with Blood Diamond.
Yeah, no, 100%. If this guy, for his ego, decides to try and stand there in front of him and punch on, he's going to get bashed.
He's probably going to have a bad time, isn't he?
Yeah, no, that dude throws some shit that you just can't understand. Your brain can't comprehend. You're like, you get hit from this weird angle, some weird thing, and you're like, okay, I don't understand how. And like and even just you can be standing like this close to the guy, and he can still kick you in the head. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's just that. That's a whole nother level of kickboxing, and hopefully he gets to show off some of those moves. In the fight against Orion Kosi. Also, another announcement that seems to have gone out today is Taiju Ivasa has got a huge assignment with Cyril Gane. So it's been announced for UFC Fight Night on September 3rd. There isn't a venue yet, but it's said to be in Paris.
Paris,
right?
yeah.
So that's he's going into enemy territory, fighting the Cyril Gane, who's just recently challenged for the UFC World Title. So huge opportunity for Taiju Ivasa, and really just everything to gain if he can land on that chin. So yeah, what do you make of that announcement?
Yeah, it's a cracker fight. I'm glad that Ty has taken and been offered that fight and taken that fight, and not like Tom Aspinall. I mean, as much as that would be a cool fight to see, obviously Tom Aspinall's a beast, but it just wouldn't make much sense. It's a step backwards in my opinion, because Ty's ahead of him in the division. So I'm glad that he's kind of like taking the momentum, continuing forward, because he goes out there, puts on it was either sort of Gane or Stipe that I was expecting that he'd get, and he's obviously got Gane. So Cyril's obviously a beast. He's going to be more than willing to stay on the feet with Ty and kind of bank on his ability to move and use his footwork. Ty's obviously just going to, but Ty 2.0, I mean, he's shown he's a mixed martial artist. He's a well-evolved mixed martial artist. But at the end of the day, if you are there and he lands, you are going to sleep. The man just knocked out Derek Lewis, which no one else has done in that way. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. And then obviously the win over Gane, we're talking about. Then the next time we're talking about Tuivasa versus Ngannou, or potentially Tuivasa versus the winner of Stipe and John Jones if they throw that together for an interim belt.
Absolutely, yeah, and like you say there, he's sort of cashed in on the momentum there, and he's done the smart thing. It looks a very tough matchup on paper, and going over to Paris as well. But like you say, he's full of momentum, and he's taken the biggest fight that he could possibly have gotten, really, in his situation. So.
We'll break it down obviously in more detail when we get to that point, but realistically, the outcomes, the two outcomes of this fight are simple. Ty's either going to knock him the fuck out, or Cyril's going to outpoint him. That's the only outcome. Cyril's not going to knock him out, and he's not going to submit him. I don't see that happening. I see him just outpointing him, or he just gets chinned.
Yeah, unless Ty maybe gets tired towards the end, in the later rounds, perhaps Cyril might be able to lock something up. But it really seems to be those two scenarios seem to be the most likely outcomes. And look, hopefully it's Taiju Ivasa taking the chocolates. But we'll have to wait till September 3rd to find out.
Yeah, 100%.
And we'll have to wait until Fight Talk Down Under episode 35 or something until to get all the details. So. Yeah, and we'll be rocking and rolling by then. We'll be surely on Spotify on the exclusive Spotify 9-figure contract by then. I would have thought.
Yeah, 100%. If anything, if it's not by then something's clearly gone wrong.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But in local news on the weekend we had Grow Strong MMA in Warwick, Queensland. That's Grow Strong MMA, not to be confused with Stay Strong MMA, I think, as I might have called them last week. But I left that in just for the highlight reel purposes. But Grow Strong MMA. It looked like a cool little venue. I didn't see too much of the footage, but what did you make of the card?
Yeah, no, it was a cracker card. There's some good fights, amateurs. They got out there and put on a show. Some standouts for me was obviously just like I sort of touched on going into it. It was good to see some of the top gyms in Queensland go out there and support the event, get some of their fighters on there. Ignite Martial Arts, obviously, the head coach there, Ryan Dunstan, he took a bunch of his fighters out there, and they kind of cleaned house. I think everybody from Ignite bar one of their fighters won, and two of them took home amateur titles. So, shout out to Ryan and the team at Ignite. They're obviously doing it big over there. I mean, all you need to do is just go have a look on their social media page to see the amount of belts that are that are sort of in that gym that just keep getting brought into the gym. Ryan's obviously he's a really good coach. And just a genuinely nice dude as well. And so it's cool to see that success for him and his team. But yeah, the team at Grow Strong, they did a great job. The event was a cracker event. One of the other fights, they actually, I'm pretty sure one of the girls they brought over was from New Zealand. So that's cool. They're bringing an amateur over from New Zealand to get in here and get into a scrap in Australia and get some experience in, so it's, they're doing some good things out there in regional Queensland. So, yeah, keep an eye out. It looks like it's only just going to get bigger and better out there.
Absolutely. And, also in action in Queensland, this weekend, of course, is Eternal 65. So we've got a fair bit to cover off there. So we'll get stuck into our preview. And we'll start off with your teammate there. Colby Thickness has announced today that he's had to withdraw from his fight with Jarrett Wilbraham after suffering a concussion in training. So, a real shame for Colby. Obviously, he's been off for a little while. He's been struggling to get fights, and to kind of lose the opportunity in fight week has got to be a bitter pill to swallow. So, what did you make of the announcement today, and how's your mate Colby travelling?
Yeah, obviously it's super fucking shit. The dude's had such a shit run over the last 18 months. Obviously, this all kind of transpired with them going overseas to, and he was part of the trip over for the Ortega fight when that initially first was meant to happen. The boys obviously got COVID, and there was those sort of delays. They were stuck over there, so they had to, they ended up filming tough. And then by the time he got back, fights were falling, like it was hard to get fights. The matchups were falling through. And then obviously now he had a few cancellations because of, COVID sort of things, border closures, all sort of stuff like that, and just flat out not being able to get a fight. And now obviously to sustain a concussion and then cop a head knock the week of the fight is just a shit outcome for the bloke. He's done like a pretty well an 18-month fight camp to finally get in there and fight, and it's been taken away from him. Obviously, the announcement came out today that he's not fighting, but obviously being close to him and being involved with him on the daily, I kind of knew. I already knew that was going to be the situation, and it's pretty shit. Like the dude's obviously, thankfully, it's like he's made the choice. They've made the right choice, and that he's consulted with the people he needed to consult, and made the choice not to fight. But yeah, hopefully he's back sooner rather than later, and finally gets to come in there and show off the skills that he has. It was just and it's such a weird thing the way it happened too. Like happened earlier in the week. We were just moving around, weren't even doing anything crazy, and it just like a freak accident. Copped a bit of a head clash here and I, and then as like he finished training. And then I think, after that, it was kind of when things started feeling a bit iffy for him. So, it's obviously a very shit situation, and we want to see Colby back sooner rather than later. I was so hyped to see him fight Jarrett. It was going to be a cracker matchup. It was going to be an absolute cracker matchup because they're two talented dudes, and Colby was going to for sure put on a show. But just got to wait that little bit longer. But yeah, more time for him to improve and get even better then.
Absolutely, and all the best to Colby Thickness. Hopefully he gets better soon, and hopefully they can put that fight back together again at an Eternal card sometime soon.
100%. I mean, I feel like it almost has to take place on Eternal. It's got to be on UFC Fight Pass. People all around the world have to get the chance to see that fight.
Absolutely, and also another one of your teammates, Amina Hadai, is in action against Selena Mongi on the prelim card. So, what do you make of that matchup?
Man, what a scrap! That is a scrap. Selena's obviously game. Amina's clearly game. So third fight in I don't know, a couple of weeks or like a month or it's not very long.
Yeah, I think it's only like 2 weeks. Just looking at her record, so no mucking around.
She's out here killing it and putting it on her shows. In these fights that they've been cracker fights already. So expect the same in this one. But obviously, Selena's obviously a talented fighter in her own right. She's obviously game, and she's got some attributes that are hard to deal with, and she's shown that in some of her other fights. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. Obviously, I'm going to back my teammate. I feel like she's going to go out there and kill it, get another win, and progress forward. But yeah, obviously she's got to be on point and get in there and give Selena all the problems to deal with, and kind of avoid the hurdles that she might present her in return. And then trying to secure the win, which I have no doubt she is going to do.
Absolutely, and it's just no mucking around there. It's it's a tough matchup to take on a 2-week turnaround. So fair play to her. That's that's brave.
And her last opponent, Amina's last opponent, actually trains with Selena. So they're training together and doing some work together. So I feel like Selena's going to has some of that motivation to get one back for her teammate, because obviously they just recently fought on proving grounds. Amina and Alessandra got fight of the night. It was a cracker fight, and Amina put on a show on that one. So hopefully we can see a similar performance this time around.
Yeah, go 2-0 there, or so there you go. Some inside knowledge perhaps with Selena Mongi from her teammates. It's going to be a fun matchup.
Yeah, 100%.
But we'll do the main 3 fights on the card here. We've got Tim Schultz taking on David, the Smiling Assassin Martinez. It's kind of I guess as close as you get to a crossroads fight, really. On the local scene, it's got Tim Schultz is 2-0. He's on his way up. He's obviously had a little bit of a break due to some injuries and some health issues, but he's had a couple of fights in boxing. But he's stepping back into the MMA scene after his fight with Quillan Salkeld got cancelled. I can't even remember when that was. It was probably about a year ago, maybe. And David Martinez, obviously a former Eternal champion. He's on a little bit of a skid. I think he's 1-4 in his last 5 starts. Coming off a loss to Tristan Murphy, of course. So he needs a win really to get himself back in the mix. He needs to get the win here. So what do you make of the matchup? Yeah,
it's an interesting matchup. On paper, it's a very well matched fight. It's just there's a few factors that obviously come into play at this fight. Is obviously David's had a bit of a rough go lately. You think his last win was over Dimps, so who's fighting in the main event. So he and then obviously the last time out against Tristan, things didn't really go his way. He got submitted. But it's an interesting fight. Timmy's had a time away, like we sort of spoke about, injuries and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see how these out of the cage factors play into the performances of both guys on the night. Like obviously Martinez is going to have the pressure on him, and he needs to win to get himself back on track. So I have no doubt he's going to be going out there to try and do that. Obviously, he does a lot of his work under Ryan Dunstan, who we just spoke about just before. So he's got a good team behind him, good coaches. Hopefully they can sort of steady the ship a bit and get him back on track. And then on the other side, you got Timmy, who's had a long layoff, trains at Integrated MMA under Adrian Pang, one of the pioneers of MMA, one championship sort of veteran. And, he's got a stack of good training partners. I know he does a lot of work with the boys at Nitro Box as well. So, gets in there and moves around with Isaac Hardman and people like that as well in that avenue. So and he's talented, man. The dude's pretty well rounded. He can wrestle, he can grapple, he can strike. I just want to know that I want to see how he deals with coming back after being injured, but also I want to know and see if this dude's got a handle on the weight cut, because I know he cuts a bit of weight. I know he does work with some professionals like with Jordy, and I'm pretty sure he does his work with Jordy and those sort of guys like that. Or at least I think he now does. I don't know if he always has. But yeah, obviously I've seen Timmy at a few shows. We've been around each other in a few shows, and I've seen the guy at the weigh-ins and going through some of these weight cuts, and it's been pretty rough. Obviously, I don't know. There's a bunch of factors that contribute in that sort of thing. Sometimes you can see these people that like there's something else that affects them, and they might not even be cutting that much weight, and it kind of affects them. But yeah, I just hope that that's not something that the guy is struggling with, or that's an issue or anything like that. And we can see these two dudes get in there and actually scrap and find out, how this sort of pans out. But for my money, I got to go with Dave on this one. I feel like, yeah, he's gonna come back in motivated, ready to get a win. Use his ability to push the pace up against the fence, take Timmy down, and just wear on him and kind of just make him work and grind him out. Obviously Timmy can wrestle a little bit, but I feel like there's a clear advantage to Dave in the grappling and the wrestling department. And he's shown in his last fight, even though he didn't get the win against Tristan. But if you look at the fight with Dimps, like he's shown an improvement in his striking ability and in his defensive ability in that avenue. Because obviously, prior to that, there was a lot of just walking forward, no head movement, just copping a lot of damage. And then obviously that you look at the Josh Togo fight, the Blake Donnelly fight, didn't work out. Wasn't the way to approach it, and wasn't sort of doing a thing for him because he couldn't get the fight to the floor. And then that kind of showed people that there's an avenue for victory if you can sort of keep it standing. So, yeah, obviously, I feel like this time around that's going to be the similar approach for Timmy. He's going to try and keep it standing and punch David's face off. David's going to look to show those improvements on the stand-up, on the feet, and then just ultimately get the fight down on the ground and put Tim away.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. It looks like there might be a bit of a grappling advantage there. We know David Martinez is a strong grappler. So, and obviously the experience. He's had 11 fights now. Former champion, former Coastal Combat champion as well. Tim Schultz is 2-0, so relatively early in his professional MMA tenure. So, it's a big test for him. It's going to be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, that's going to be. Hopefully, I get the chance to watch that one actually, and if not, I'll definitely get to watch it the next day. But I'm intrigued.
Do you watch the fights normally before you're before yours, or is this one going to be a little bit too close?
No, I'll watch them, and then a lot of the time, if it's like the one like the fight right before yours, a lot of the time when they get you out there, sometimes they get you out there and you're kind of behind the curtain anyway, so you can get glimpses of it here and there. But I mean, it's like my 23rd fight or some shit. I mean, I just do my thing, man. Pretty relaxed and just soak up the fights and get to see some of the other people do their thing. And it's just, yeah. So I'll definitely be trying to catch what I can when I can.
Absolutely. And like you say, you will be doing your thing, taking on Alan Philpott in the co-main event. So, I guess, it's going to be a little bit difficult to break this one down given our bias, I guess. But, Alan Philpott is a guy who's been there and done that. He's had 31 fights, 4 times in the One Warrior series. He's fought in ACB, numerous UK-based promotions. So, how do you assess his skill set and what he brings to the table?
Yeah, Alan's obviously super experienced. Been around for a hot minute. He's fought on some big shows and against some talented people. Experience-wise, he's got me covered. Length of time in the sport, he's got me covered. So that's those are all pretty exciting things for me. He's obviously it'd be a good name to have on your record. So obviously the dude's talented. Like he is a talented fighter. I've shared the mats with him. I've trained with him. I've sparred with him. I've done all that sort of stuff. So the guy's talented. He is a talented fighter, and you got to respect his skill set. But yeah, I got to go out there and do my thing. It's obviously my plans to go out there and keep my momentum going, get another win, and just kind of keep doing what I'm doing really, and showcase the improvements I've made, and I continue to make, and just kind of showcase to people that I'm the caliber of fighter I am now is better than the caliber of fighter I was in my last performance. And it's just going to, the plan is to always just keep that going. And that's, at the end of the day, that's my plan. I just want to showcase the improvements that I make, showcase, how much better I am than my last performance. It's always the test in front of you, the person that's in front of you. You kind of want that test and kind of do that. But it's always just going to be about being better than I was the last time I went out, and showcase improvements and just progress forward and get to the ultimate goal at the end of the day. But yeah, if I were to pick the fight, I'm going to go Allen by flying Kimura triangle in round 3 or some shit like that. Nah, I'm joking. Obviously, I'm involved in the fight, so I'm going to obviously back myself here. And yeah, I'm going to finish this dude. He, all respect to the dude, his experience and his skills. And like I said, he trains with Josh Kulabau, and he's, got those sort of people around him and good coaches, and he's based at Igor MMA, and dude's been around for a hot minute, but he's also been away for a while. The last 3 dudes I fought that have been out of the game for a while, look what happened to them. 2 of them got finished, and another dude got bashed in front of his home crowd, in front of his friends and family for 15 minutes. So I don't know why these dudes keep thinking they can take a fight with me after years away, but yeah, this isn't the first time this has happened, and it didn't work out for the other 3 dudes, and it's not going to work out for Allen, unfortunately. This might be his 50th fight, but he's got to stand in front of me, and I'm going to put him away.
Yeah, there you go. You seem to be a bit of a target for some of these guys who are sort of coming back and into the ranks. I don't know. Why do you think you sort of have a target on your back? Man, I think it's a combination. Obviously, the Rod Costa fight. Like, those people watch the Rod Costa fight and they go, okay, well, Rod's, he's primarily known as a grappler. He was able to land and get, land a shot on me and put me away that way. And I feel like that factors into it. But, we spoke about this kind of all fair. There's these peaks and valleys in the sport, and people latch on to the positive things so easy, and then they ride onto that, and then they attach onto the negative things so easy, and they ride on that. And you're always just going to, when you come out of those, like the fight, whether you win or you lose, people are just going to, that's what they're kind of factored into, and that's what they focus on. So I feel like it's that. Maybe it's that. Maybe Josh Riley, after his, in my last fight, maybe that was the same sort of thing. He kind of was like, if Rod Costa can put him away that way, I can put him away that way. And, obviously, I don't know, maybe Allen, it's the same. Well, he's made no secret. It's the same sort of thing for him. I feel like he feels like if he lands the same way Rod did, or in a way that Rod did, or something like that, he's going to be able to do the same thing. And but I feel like if you look at my record, I feel like with the losses, that are some of the losses on my record, I feel like people are forgetting that a couple of my losses are up in weight on shorter shit notice. I'm not making an excuse here in my losses. I fought on those times. I went in there to do my thing and I didn't get the result. But let's keep in mind some of them losses were up in weight on short notice. And there was a split decision loss to Aiden Maroki. There's some that at featherweight, my only loss recently in recent years has been to Rod Costa. So I think at featherweight, if you look at just the featherweight fights on my record, the last few kind of fights I've had, I've just been killing it outside of the Rod Costa fight. Yeah, I guess the 8-5 record, it's sort of in MMA, it's not an unusual record at all. But this is you're a guy who just takes on to pretty much anyone who gets anyone who calls your name. You sort of you answer that call, and you look down that record, and it's not your average sort of 8-5 record. So maybe that's a factor. They see a few losses on 100%. The record and think might be an easy mark.
But that's the risk reward kind of thing that you're doing. And I think Dan Hooker spoke about this on Submission Radio in his recent sort of appearance on there. It's just the risk and reward. When it works out, you're the fucking man. Everyone's like, look at this dude. When it doesn't work out, it's like, oh man, whatever. And then, it kind of breeds into these avenues where people are like, yeah, I'll take that fight.
People are quick to pile in, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. But at featherweight, like, it's a whole nother ball game. Like, let's keep in mind the dudes that I lost to, these dudes, you like, fuck, I hate to quote this cunt, but you gotta take something out of what Conor McGregor said. Like, if you come in any way equal to me, it's a fucking problem. Like, you gotta have some attributes, some size, some reach, some shit like that, and then we can talk. But like at featherweight, I'm a fucking problem, and I'm only gonna keep getting better, and I'm only gonna keep showcasing that because look where I'm at, man. I train with the best fucking featherweight on the planet Earth and the best coach, in the world, in Joe Lopez. So, and look at my training partners, like someone like Colby, like the guys that I get to work with, like Jamie Malaki, Josh Kulabau, Blake Donnelly, Trent Girdham. These people are fucking talented athletes, and I get to share the mats with them and, build and kind of flourish off that. So, yeah. I mean, I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in my abilities, and I know what I'm capable of just in general, but also like in my weight class, I've shown what I'm capable of, so I've just got to keep doing that.
Absolutely. And in the main event on the weekend, we've got Josh Kuhn taking on Dim Skillies. And look, if we're being honest, it's probably not quite a main event sort of caliber fight, really, is it? But you can see what they're going for here. It's definitely a fan-friendly matchup. Josh Kuhn has obviously been in a real hurry in his career so far. He's 3-0 with a total cage time of 3 minutes and 12 seconds as a pro.
It's about as long as I last in bed.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's with time to cuddle as well. But he's had I think less than 2 minutes in the cage as an amateur as well. So he's a bit of an unknown quantity, really. Like we haven't really seen that much of him in the cage, but he's been pretty thrilling in the time that he has been in there. And he beat a decent opponent in Taylor Kelly last time out. So it blasted him out in 49 seconds. So I see you screwing up your face there, but and we'll get to that. But Tim Skillies for his. For his part is he's obviously been pursuing boxing, but he's been drawn back for the main event opportunity with Josh Kuhn. But what do you make of what do you make of this matchup?
Yes, fireworks on paper, right? You got Dims, who can't be in a boring fight, as the MC of Eternal, Daniel Maudsley, had kind of alluded on his breakdown. That dude is never in a boring fight. Like even in his boxing fights he's had recently, the ones where he maybe didn't get the nod and kind of like lost a close decision or whatever, the dude just scraps, man. Like he's exciting. He's genuinely someone, because obviously I've dealt with Dimps a lot over my time sort of, when I was based in Queensland. The dude just loves to fight, man. The dude loves to fight. The dude just thrives on scrapping and being exciting and just getting out there and banging on. And then obviously, Josh has shown that the dude just wants to come out there and pull people away and not waste any time doing it. So I can understand their thought process on putting the fight together. It's an exciting sort of matchup. It's got on paper, it's not going to last very long. It shouldn't last very long. It should be done very quickly with either man having the ability to shut the other man's lights off. They both got bricks for hands. And Dimps, he's based at NTG now, so he trains with some good people there. He's got some good coaching sort of around him as well, and seems like he's found the path of discipline. And keep in mind, for a lot of the time, Dimps has been doing before this. Dimps was just kind of doing everything himself. He was the one that was just kind of doing it all himself. He was kind of just dictating his own training, doing his own sort of stuff, and look what he was able to do with some of the performances that he's had and some of the fights that he's had. And if people haven't already, if you want to go see like one of the most hectic fights that Dimps has been in, go back and watch his fight on Rain. I believe it was Rain Fighting Championship against Dante Jackson. If you haven't had a chance, go watch that fight. That the motherfucker can scrap, and he's game, and like he's exciting, like because he ate some shots in that fight, some big shots. And I think I saw something on the Eternal breakdown. The dude's had like knockout wins from heavyweight all the way down to lightweight. So that's fucking insane.
Damn.
yeah, he's kind of just keeps it was just kind of, he's another one, man. He just likes to scrap and just fight whoever they sort of give him. So, yeah, it's an exciting fight on paper. It's like a fan-friendly kind of fight. People who even aren't follow the sport too much, or even kind of follow Eternal too much, like people who are just going along for the novelty with their friends, they're going to get a kick out of a fight like that, 100%. Because there's going to be a finish. I don't see that fight going the distance. Yeah, if so, that fight goes the distance, something's horribly wrong, and I don't know what. It can't. It literally just can't go the distance. But for my money, man, I got to go with knockout victory to the kamikaze, to Josh Kuhn. As much as, I feel like the dude hasn't been given a proper test yet. In some aspects, Dimps is a bit of a test for the dude because, Dimps can hit pretty hard himself. He's got bricks for hands. He can put you out. But yeah, we're just going to see how, if his chin can hold up, because he also does get hit. And if you watch the fight that he had with Brenton Mumford was just touching him. And, although Brenton didn't, put him away, if someone can touch you like that, and if Josh is able to sort of find that same sort of target on you like that, he's for sure going to be able to put you away. Josh Kuhn is coming off that Taylor Kelly fight, which, a couple of years ago, if we were talking about Taylor Kelly, fuck yeah, that's a shit fight for him to sort of get offered. And, I don't think it goes the same way, if I'm honest. If we're talking about the Taylor Kelly that had his scraps with Brenton Mumford and Kieran Joblin and, got out there and put on some fucking cracker performances against some of these dudes, that's a whole different ballgame. But the Taylor Kelly that walked into the cage and fought Josh Kuhn was it wasn't it wasn't the test that it should have been. And I know that, the promotion's got to do their thing. They've got to cash in on the fact that Josh sells tickets and that he is such a big draw, and they've got to build him up, and you can't knock him for doing that. That's what you got to do. It's a fight business, right? You're trying to make money. It's what you're doing. But yeah, this is a test in some ways, but in other ways, potentially not. I feel like Josh is going to get the first round finish again. I feel like he's going to be able to land and find the target. At the same time, though, it's one of those fights where I don't really want to pick like something like that. It's one of those ones where you kind of want to see both guys do well. I really liked him, so all the time in the world for that dude, and I want to see him do well and get the win. But at the same time, I want to see Josh get the win because, I know I ragged on him the last couple of times that we've sort of spoken about the dude, but he's a nice dude, and you want to see him do well as well. But it's kind of a weird fight. It's you kind of don't want to see either dude lose, but you kind of want to see Josh win, and you kind of want to see Dimps win, but you kind of want to see Josh win because you want to see him progress forward and get an actual real test. Because stylistically, this plays into sort of his game, right? You got a guy that's going to stand in front of you and bang it out. Dimps ain't shooting a takedown. I'll tell you that right now. He ain't shooting no takedowns. Even if he gets buzzed, he ain't shooting no takedowns. He's going to bite down and he's going to throw back. And he's either going to knock you the fuck out or he's going to get knocked out. Enough said. For my money, I want to see both guys do equally good and the best man win on the night. But that's probably going to be Josh Kuhn with a first round stoppage.
Well, this is not where I thought this breakdown was going. These nice words for Josh Kuhn after the last time we spoke about him. So, I was not expecting that, but no, it is a fair fair call. I think it feels like Dimps Gillies is a little bit of a hand-picked sort of opponent for Josh Kuhn. He's a guy who's obviously going to stand and like you say, he's going to trade with Josh and sort of play into Josh's strengths really. So. And he's a guy who's probably going to test him as well. He's a guy, like you say, who can take some shots and who might sort of take him into some deeper water. So it's going to be interesting to see sort of Josh, whether Josh is sort of tested more than some of his previous fights and see what he's got, see what he can sort of bring to the table in a longer fight. Yeah, I mean, I certainly feel like it's going to go a bit longer than his other ones, but yeah, it's still far. I see a first round stoppage still coming, but at the same time though, it's a win-win for me because
if Dims goes out there and chins him or is able to, the fight does somehow end up going 3 rounds and these dudes just bang it out for 3 rounds, well, it's a win-win, right? Like I still get to watch that. I still get to get to break that fight down on our next episode, and I kind of get to eat my words, anyway. So it's a win-win for me. I'm like one of those people, man. Like I said, I say what I say because that's just how it is, and I break it down. But if I have to fucking pull myself in and go, yeah, you know what, man, I was wrong, I'm more than comfortable doing that. There's no ego involved in that.
Yeah, like we say, take your losses like Isaac Hardman, right? Take it with humility.
100%.
But it's a fun fight for the fans. So, like you say, we all win really from a matchup like that, and it goes down this Saturday night. Southport Sharks on May 7th. That might have to go in the highlight reel, that one. But yeah, it's on live on UFC Fight Pass. If you're not in Queensland, you can catch all the action. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Eternal 65. Now we've got to get to before we wrap up, we've got to get to a fan question. We did put it out there last week that we're going to start rolling some of these out, and we've got a fun one to start with. It's from Christian Bromer. His question is, last week you talked about Cyborg potentially being on the Source. Obviously, it's a bit different in the UFC with USADA, so fighters cheating is a pretty scientific discussion. But he wants to get your thoughts on PEDs in the amateur and Aussie pro scene. I've seen some saucy amateurs around, and for me, I'm wondering if I should avoid fighting them on principle or just do it if it's a good matchup. For the pro level, I'm wondering how many people in Eternal or comparable promotions are on gear, especially given what's at stake. If you become an Eternal champion, you could very likely make the UFC, etc. So, yeah, what do you make of that?
Yeah, 100%. There's people that are on the Source. Like, it's, yeah. Fuck. Yeah. I mean, to start off the first part of that, he was asking about should he avoid fighting some of these people? Like, at the end of the day, man, as an amateur, I'd say 1000% yes, because you're not getting paid, right? Like why fight someone if you know or you have a pretty good idea that someone is doing that and you're potentially going to get matched with this person? Fuck that. Like you ain't getting paid for that shit. So why do you want to go fight someone who's clearly doing the wrong thing and you're not even getting any financial, albeit that wouldn't like really be that much of a softening of a blow when you still have to fight someone who's doing the wrong thing. But at least you're still getting some financial compensation in some small way. So yeah, definitely like as an amateur, if you have like an inkling that someone's doing the wrong thing and you're potentially going to get matched to this person or you are matched to this person, yeah, don't do that. Like put yourself first, put your health first, and yeah, don't do that. But as a pro, I mean, then it's up to you, because then it's like I feel like if you're a pro, then you're doing this because you're pursuing it. You want to, take it as far as you can go, and then you got to kind of just deal with that and accept the fact that 100% you're going to be fighting people who are on the Source. For my money, I fought a guy. I 100% feel like when I fought Rodolfo Marquez, he was on all of the saucy sources that they have. I remember just walking into the cage, like he stood on the scale at Wayne's. There was a few issues with the scales at Wayne's, actually. A bunch of the scales, like there was like 6 different scales there, and all of them were showing different weights. But I mean, I saw him stand on a scale. I heard someone say 66.2 kilos, but if he was 66 kilos on that scale, that would have been fucking hectic. Because I walked into the cage on fight day, and this dude is standing across from me, and I was like, because I'm a big featherweight, man. I ain't small for the weight class. I'm tall and I'm big, and I got some size on me as well. And I remember just grabbing a hold of him in that first round and like trying to get my arms around him and thinking, what the fuck is going on here? So yeah, as far as people I've fought to this point that I'm like, was, potentially on this stuff, I'm going to throw his name in the ring. And also he's an older guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if the dude was doing some sort of testosterone replacement therapy and all that sort of shit, whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck, I still beat him. So, but as far as, the second part of that question, is there people that are fighting in Eternal and some of these other promotions that are on the Source? 100%. 100%. You've kind of, yeah, what, especially now, Eternal's the biggest promotion in the country. The UFC Fight Pass thing, the thing that they have now with Neds, and it's only getting bigger and better. They've, had their highest attendance, their highest gates, and doing all sort of stuff. So there's a lot at stake for fighters as well on the platform. So 100% there's going to be people that are going to be doing that to try and cash in on that and get themselves to where they want to be. Because obviously, once you get to the UFC, yeah, they have like USADA and all that sort of stuff. But when was the last time we heard of a fight getting cancelled because someone got popped for something with USADA? So that's, something else that we got to kind of think about there. But 100% there is. There's some people that I look at and I go, how the fuck do you make the weight that you make? And then also, like, you see what they look like and you're like, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, what's going on there? Now it's always the little battle of like, do I start fucking naming and shaming people that I think are doing the wrong thing? Or do I just do I leave it all as a mystery and just out them at random times when people don't think, like, we might be doing a breakdown of some of these dudes' fights, and then all of a sudden I have to throw them under the bus and be like, well, hey, this dude for sure has to be on the source.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll just do one each week. We'll just name and shame.
Maybe that'll be a segment. We'll go, all right, on this week's episode of Fight Talk Down Under, the cheater of the week is so-and-so. Started this week with Rodolfo. I mean, no secret, Rodolfo, I don't like that dude. Fuck, I got a list of people I don't like, but I don't know. To quote Israel Adesanya, like a fucking elephant, I remember things, right? I remember everything. So, I got reason not to like that dude, bro. Like, we're fighting for a fucking Australian title, and then the dude asks for it to be changed from 5 rounds to 3 rounds. I fight him in the 3 rounds. I beat him, and then he whinges after the fight, being like, "No, I won the fight. It was a robbery, blah blah blah." But that's just standard Rodolfo Marquez behavior. But yeah. And then, I just said, like, let's do it again immediately, and do it over 5 rounds, and then it was like radio silence. So yeah, fuck that dude. But yeah, nah. And also, what I didn't appreciate when I fought Josh Riley in my last fight, I went over, I shook Josh's hand, I shook his whole team's hand, I went to shake Rodolfo's hand, just walked away. So yeah, you're a clown.
Yeah, that's ordinary, leaving you hanging there. That's
a saucy clown at that.
There you go. I mean, we sort of joke about the source a lot, and you've been around the scene for quite some time now. Pardon me.
Is this the part where you ask me if I've seen people do it? Is that
pretty much? Yeah, that was pretty much where I was going with that. Yeah, like, I mean, we don't need to name and shame people, but have you actually sort of seen people or sort of known people to be on the gear, or is it sort of mostly strong suspicions, let's say?
No, I've seen some people
shit.
Do some shit in my time. Like, I've been doing this since 2014. So yeah, I've seen some shit in my time. Some of the people that I, they don't fight anymore, but some of them do. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's never something that I was ever going, like, I'd be like, oh, well, and I'm going to try and justify, like, yeah, it's fuck, man. If I don't care what the situation is, bro, if you've got to do some shit like that to be able to compete in the sport that you're in, you're a fucking clown. Like, I mean, the only time there's an exception in my mind for PEDs and performance enhancing, Lance Armstrong, Tour de France, like, everyone was doing it. Why the fuck not? Right? Everyone's doing it. I might as well do it, and I might as well beat them, and yeah, be the best at, But in saying that, like, yeah, that's probably the only exception I have. And then
it's still a level playing field, right? If everyone's doing it.
And there was a similar instance in baseball for a period there. You had like Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, like, you had all these dudes that were on the source. So, like, I guess, yeah. But like, when we're talking about, I guess in other sports, but we're talking about a sport where you're literally standing in front of someone and they're trying to murder you and you're trying to murder them. And if they're doing that, man, like, look at Michael Bisping, bro. Look what happened to that dude. Like, with the Vitor Belfort fight, the dude lost an eye and then fought the rest of his career with one eye because of some shit like that. We fought a guy that was clearly on the sauce. And, you know, some of these other people that we've seen over the years, like, so 100%, yeah, I've seen people in my time too, locally here in Australia, sort of scene and that, like, that are for sure doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And some of them were actually surprisingly kind of just like nonchalant about it. They're like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. And it's kind of like, fuck, man. Like, I'm talking like guys were getting IVs after weigh-ins to rehydrate themselves, but also to flush out what they had in their system here locally in Australia, kind of like almost doing preparation work for when they do get to the UFC or Bellator or some of these other promotions. Like, we don't get tested here. It's not like I have to do a fucking test for anything. I mean, like, but that's just how it is. Like, you know, like I can tell everyone that might be wondering, Eternal, all these promotions, whatever, all these sanctioning bodies, no one's tested here. No one gets tested here. We don't get tested. We don't do a piss test. We don't do nothing, right? I mean, they're like, yeah, there's no way to tell who's doing what, like, by the promotions or anything like that. The only thing that they do here is, you know, obviously they monitor like that you have to make weight. That's kind of the only sort of thing. You have to make weight. If you don't make the weight, yeah, you lose half your purse and you get penalized a point potentially or whatever it may be. WA's commission's obviously a lot stricter because they had a Muay Thai fighter die cutting weight, so they're a bit more like strenuous or shit like that. But other than that, yeah, no one's getting tested. No one's getting like run through with a fine tooth comb, being like, "Oh, what are you up to? What are you up to? What are you doing?" Yeah. Actually, it's funny that this was the fan question that popped up because actually, like, recently, I've had someone just pull me aside and flat out just ask me. They're like, "Hey, man, do you take anything? And if you do, what is it that I should be taking?" So that was a bit weird, but yeah, can confirm I definitely don't take anything. I'm just stacked because I train with the best team in the world, and I have a really great nutritionist, and my conditioning work that I do. And my conditioning that I do with Chris, with Chris and the team at Baymed, you know, like, a second to none. Like, you know, if it's good enough for Volko, it's good enough for me, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned Michael Bisping there, because it's kind of it is a different sort of set of consequences, really, isn't it? In MMA as opposed to like cycling or something like that. You can do some real damage to someone if you're sort of unnaturally strong or powerful or whatever. So, you know, it is a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Well, look at me, for example. Like, I guess I know I'm like a well-rounded mixed martial artist, and, you know, I'm gonna keep showing that. But, like, okay, for example, right? A lot of my fights, I've used my pressure wrestling and my grappling, and that, you know, to just kind of grind on people. If I'm in if I was in a position where I decided, okay, I'm gonna do the wrong thing and I'm gonna take some special supplements and, you know, get myself that extra sort of advantage, but I could really fucking hurt some people and fuck some people up real badly in that avenue. Like, imagine you're stuck on the bottom and a sauced up dude is just holding you down and like elbowing your fucking head through the canvas, and there's nothing you can do about it. And that all factors in because it's affecting you and your health. Like, it's fucking, yeah, it'd be, it's a fucking weird scenario to be in. And, like, it always comes back to, like, the thing, like, how do you, if you are doing that, how do you justify that and actually, like, look yourself in the mirror and go, yep, I'm an athlete, I'm a winner, I'm a champion. I don't have that understanding of that because I don't have that sort of fiber of my being. Like, I don't get how you can do that. Like, yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I guess it's just that you know, I guess that that mindset of just trying to get to the big leagues at you know, and do whatever it takes to get there, and it's you know, but it is risky because you know, it does all comes out in the wash or in the, you know, in the piss test once you get to the big dance. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, but yeah, it's basically, you know, yeah. I hope that we answered your question in a good enough way for you there, Christian. But yeah, like I said, for the first part of that question, if you're an amateur and you have some good info that someone is doing the wrong thing and they want to match you up with that person, definitely don't do it. Definitely don't do it.
Yeah, there you go. And we've got a bit of overtime there, but that was a fun one. That was a fun little thing to unpack. So, yeah, I appreciate you going in on that one. And, of course, there'll be more of this sort of juicy content next week on episode 14 of Fight Talk Down Under. We'll be recapping Eternal 65. We'll have a look at the boxing triple header. It involves Paul Gallen, Nikita Zhu, and Harry Garside. And, of course, we'll have more fan questions. And
Trent Girdham's also fighting on that card. Trent Girdham is in action on that card too, so it'll be one for people. Card? Yes. So it's going to be one for people to keep an eye out.
Absolutely, there we go. So yeah, we'll have all that, all the details on that in episode 14. But until then, thanks for watching. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Fight News Australia. The wheels are falling off here. Lockjaw, what have you, what do you want to send us off with? Because I'm cooked.
Get ready, guys. Get your UFC Fight Pass ready. Get ready to watch Eternal this weekend. And if you don't already, download the Neds app. Prepare yourself for that because obviously you're going to be able to bet on the fights. And I'm not one to tell you what to do with your money, but if you want to make some money, for sure, bet on this guy.
I gotta watch it. You never know what might stop you. Here I am, climbing up, feeling great, getting love. Here I go, risk it all, be worth it now, and that's for sure.